Hi Capricorn, it's Rebecca from Being Human Tarot, and I'm here this month to bring you your August 2018 forecast. This month I'm changing up the spread a bit and I'm doing a 3-card spread instead of the 5-card spread that I did last month. And so the first card represents what you should focus on for this month. The second card represents what you should set aside for this month. And the third card represents just an additional consideration for the month as a whole. I'm also drawing kind of like a bonus oracle card from Kim Krans's Animal Spirit deck, which I have a box somewhere. Here's that if you're interested. She has some really great line drawings. Love her artwork. And yeah, we'll get into it. So you have an interesting reading this month. Your first card in the position of what you need to focus on this month, you drew the King of Wands. So the King of Wands is a fire sign. He's, like most kings, about getting things done in like that particular suit. So as Wands, he is all about creativity. There's a real charisma in the Wands suit for like sort of all of the court cards, where it's a lot of passion. You know, you've got that fire energy, and so you're being called on this month to to really be a leader in specifically coming to mind at home and at work. So at work, you know, and it doesn't mean that you have to be in like a managing kind of role. You can lead in your job by being great at it and by being an example of to other people of how to do something really well, how to navigate kind of a crap situation like with ease, and inspire other people. This happened to me kind of recently, where I was feeling pretty burnt out at work, and someone just took the time to acknowledge something that I did in a way that was really touching, and it just made me want to be a better person. So I would say that what she had done, although she is lateral to me, not managing anyone, was a leader-like quality for sure. So regardless of where you are, rank-wise in your job, like, we all have opportunities to do that kind of stuff, and it's awesome, and like, you know, just like so inspiring to other people. So if you are being called to be more of a leader at home, you know, it could be depending, you know, totally on like what your family situation is. Maybe if you're single and you're just on your own, maybe it's time to take a bit more action on things that you've been putting off, like anything, just like getting your life organized, making sure your accounts are in order. And it's not pentacles, but I just see it as really kind of being this action-oriented, like passionate thing that leadership that you need. So maybe not so much related to finances, but at home, you know, it could be maybe if you're someone who's partnered, if you're someone who's partnered, maybe your partner right now is going through something. Maybe they've been laid off, or maybe they just need more emotional support. Now's your time to kind of like take your creative energy and like really support them in whatever way they need it. If you're partnered and have a kid, maybe it's your turn to do more of the parenting, depending on what's going on with. It's really about you stepping up and kind of using your own creativity and new ways of thinking to kind of like navigate whatever your situation is. So, or maybe you're a single parent, which takes lots of creativity no matter what, right? So let's see. So that's your focus for the month. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted there for a second. And then you have this really interesting, for what to set aside for the month, you drew the Queen of Wands. Which, you know, the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands, they're like, they're the Wands royalty, they go together. And there's a lot of similarities, so it could be potentially confusing. You might be thinking, why would I need to be like the King of Wands and set aside the Queen of Wands this month? What does that mean? So, the Queen of Wands has so much energy, like the King, right? She's also a fire sign. She's also very charismatic, but she leads more by, I don't want to say inaction because that's incorrect. There is action, but it's not like stepping up and like telling someone this is what we're going to do, or like I'm going to do this and help you out with this, like at home, like I'm going to do this right now. It's more of an emotional support that isn't, it's not as loud, if that makes sense. There's persuasion and there's for sure influence, but it's just quieter. And so so maybe here's an example that will work for what I was saying earlier about in the career, in your job this month, where I was saying, like if someone, you can be a leader by, you know, going to someone's boss and telling them that they did a good job and, you know, why, and then that makes them feel inspired to kind of like do better, like in their job going forward. So that's like King of Wands energy, going to the boss. Queen of Wands might have just gone directly to you. And I don't say just, like that's not good. That is good. Like receiving praise one-on-one is very meaningful too, but it's a different approach. It's not better or worse, it's just a different approach. It's not quite as actionable, if that makes sense. So as a set aside for the month, really, what the cards are saying are that you need to be more direct this month in your sort of like fiery creative energy. There's a time and a place for the Queen of Wands, and she's awesome, but you need a little bit more assertion than she typically provides. So to keep that in mind, and you know the specific, because of it being wands, I tend to think of like a more creative spheres of your life, but really, I mean, so much of our life you could say like is creative. We all have to come up with solutions to different areas of our life. So beyond work and home, you know, there are other places too. So if any of that resonates for you, but kind of in a different category, I would say absolutely keep that in mind. For your additional consideration, you pulled the Empress. And the Empress, like you, Capricorn, is an earth card. She's not a pentacle, so she's not like an earth sign. But and she's often associated with fertility, motherhood, abundance, nature, obviously, because Earth sign, right? As an additional consideration, and she also has sort of like this bluebird perched on her shoulder, where if you've ever seen some of those really old Disney princess movies where like Snow White or Cinderella or whomever is, you know, getting ready and like all the birds are like coming to her, she, you know, gets dressed in the morning. That's the Empress. All the little woodland creatures are following the Empress because she's very in tune with nature. So as an additional consideration, I would say that it's gonna be a good month for you. You're being asked to step up a bit, and you know, that might not be easy necessarily, depending on what your normal kind of like comfort levels with being in more of that ruling role is. But ultimately it's gonna bring you reward. You're gonna be content this month. And I tend to kind of infrequently take the pregnancy component of the Empress so literally, unless it was, you know, in a reading that was specifically about getting pregnant. But you know, I just kind of think of sort of just being like this sort of satisfaction, like being pregnant with satisfaction. So just really having all your desires met and kind of at one with nature. So so for this particular reading, I think that it's going to be a really fulfilling month for you. And you'll even have some time, it seems like, to kind of like kick back and relax a bit. If you do have the opportunity to get out in nature a little bit more, go on a walk, hike, you know, get out on the water, depending on like where you live and like what's available to you, that's going to be really good for your mind this month. And so that's your additional consideration. Now for your animal spirit card, I love this. You drew the scorpion. Which I'm saying I love it because, like, wow, you have, sorry if I keep wiping my face, it's like, it's July, so it's very hot in my apartment. But you have so much fire energy this month. You have, you know, you have the King of Wands, you have the Queen of Wands, which I know is your set aside, but like the fact that you need to set it aside means that it's likely kind of like an inclination that you are drawn to. And so here you have the Scorpion, in Kim Krans' deck, this white triangle is the fire suit. And you probably don't have to guess that a Scorpion is a fire sign in this card, right? Like, it's very fiery, and we know what Scorpions are like. So I really just think it's kind of like the final nail on the coffin. It's not a great metaphor to use for this, but or not a very positive, shiny metaphor to use for this, of all the creative passion and energy that you have this month, and to really make use of it, because like now is the time for action. Now is the time to really get things done that if you've been putting something off, like go for it this month. Especially if it's something that involves creativity, and that, because the result is gonna be great. And you have like all this backing. Yeah, so just be honest and direct in your pursuit of whatever it is you're trying to achieve this month, and yeah, you're gonna have great success. So I think that's an extremely positive reading. Happy for you, Capricorn. I will, oh, if you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up. And I would love it if you wanted to subscribe also. If you click the bell icon next to subscribe, you'll get notified before the 1st of every month, which is when I upload this suite of videos for each sign, so that you'll have like a little bit of time to check them out before the month begins. Depending how fast I am, maybe right when the month begins. And that's it for August. Okay, bye Capricorn.